My dear friends, I'm Daniel Popa. I have wanted to do a short video rather to um, encourage a discussion, and hopefully we can be better prepared as beekeepers. Um, we are keeping bees, and in a strong hive the number of bees are in tens of thousands, and as we know, the foragers, the bees who go out and forage, they would be armed with a sting and venom, and we've been stung many times. It is not something we enjoy, but not something we really dread. That being said, we have to keep in mind few things. I have listened to a TV report back home in Romania. Two people have been killed and another one was severely injured by bees. What happened? They were taking the hives to gather the nectar from acacia forest, and in the process a beekeeper would ask a couple of other guys to help with the moving of the beehives. Of course, they won't have cranes and things like that to lift. Could be a number of beehives on a truck, so they ask for help. In this event, particular one, the beekeeper have made a number of mistakes, and he has paid very dearly for. He has transported the hives piled up on a truck during the daytime, in the heat of the day, so the bees were really stressed out, and as they were moving the hives from the truck onto the field, one of the guys were stung multiple times possible, but the other two ones, they've known this guy having epilepsy, so they were concerned and they said we better take the guy to the hospital. And I'm not exactly sure the details of it. Maybe the guy were presenting signs of anaphylactic shock, or they panicked a bit possible. So they put the guy in the truck and rushed to go to the hospital. In the panic, they have forgotten that they have loosened one row of beehives in the back of the truck, so they took the strap off, trying to unload the beehives, and they were of course out on a countryside somewhere. So as they were moving the truck from on that uneven road, the beehives collapsed on the ground. And another mistake they've done, they went out and tried to check the situation, tried to maybe salvage the situation, and it appears none of them had the suit, the bee suit on, and of course the bees have jumped on them. One of them were killed on the spot, another one on the way to the hospital or so. What have I learned? I was very concerned. The media have reported that the aggressive bees have killed 2 people. Now this is completely misrepresented and wrong. I would not call the bees aggressive. It's us who do the wrong thing. It's us intruding in their territory and causing all that harm to the bees. And of course bees will behave defensively, and they will protect their queen, their brood, their colony. And in doing so, we could have these tragic results. Now I leave this story aside, and I want to tell you, you see where my house is. I used to come here in this shed many times grabbing something from the shed, all the time just walk in front of the hives, no veil, just walk calmly, and bees will just, maybe one of them would bump into me, would give me a sting in my ear or so. I didn't pay much attention to that. But one day, as I was passing through this, just in front of this green hive here, I went into the shed here, and in a matter of seconds, and it's puzzling to me how bees communicate. How do bees communicate? That in just few seconds, they can alert a good number of bees, and they would just followed me. Some of them were on my head, stinging me, arms, everywhere. And I probably got 10, 15 stings. And immediately when I turned my head, all this happens very, very quickly. When I turned my head, there were quite a number of other bees coming. So there's no point telling them, stop, I don't mean harm, big story. No. Run. And we know we cannot outrun bees. That's a fact. If you run in a straight line out in an open field, they'll catch you. So best is, if you can, run, and I run this way, swerving in and out of the olive trees, and immediately they will lose you. Immediately, as you go around the olive tree, they won't see you anymore. So it'll take time for them to locate you again. That's number one. It's important to know, I have taught my son, my wife, if ever something like this occurs, you run behind something, run among the trees. Don't run in a straight line. That's number one. Number two, for us as beekeepers, when we work our hives, it is a must that we wear protection. I see countless videos out there of people working their hives, and a number of occasions I've done that as well. If you feel confident, you can take your veil off. It's a calm day, bees are calm. It's okay, you can do that. But have a plan in place. Everything can happen very, very quickly. If you're not prepared, you're caught. And bees can kill you. I mean, if 1,000 bees jump on you, or 2,000 bees, it's not exactly sure. Probably a person would tolerate more than other. A person will go in an anaphylactic shock sooner than other. It's best to protect ourselves. I've been in situation when I was stung 40, 50 times in a matter of just few minutes. And I felt, I'm not sure about that. Well, I was okay. But you cannot take this gamble. And in my mind, I have a picture in my mind since that day. It was an eye-opening for me. My bees, which I love, they've really gone after me. And I have asked in that day on a beekeeper group in Romania why this has occurred. It was a very calm day, very beautiful day, and I got probably 60 answers, very different from each other. So beekeepers have experienced this, and it's not one fit all. There's so many reasons why our bees, which have been really docile and calm, could turn quickly to be defensive or going after you, and you have a situation on your hand. And this picture is kind of, if I would sit here between these two rows of trees, and you would have one guy shooting with a machine gun one side of the row, and another guy shooting this side of the row, and you will be told, you have a chance, just walk between these rows of trees to the very end there. and bullets will pass on your left and right. And the guy will say, well, you could take your body armor if you like, or if you're confident enough, you could just go like that. How would you feel about that? Knowing that you're just one step away from being killed. And it's kind of the same with the bees. You can never be 100% sure. And because of that, you have to take precautions, you have to take some measures, and you have to know what you have to do to protect yourself, protect others as well. One thing you could do when we work our bees, I have read this and I agree, it is very, very good to be hydrated before you come and during your work with the hives. I do sweat heavily and I lose a lot of body liquid by sweat. And if something like that happens, that you're stung multiple times suddenly, then the venom, in the absence of hydration in your body, will have a greater effect than when you're hydrated. So keeping hydrated. Another thing which I've been told it's good, and this may not apply in all situations, but a hose, a water hose ready to be sprinkled works very well, because if you have one hive going berserk after you and you're starting spraying those bees, it's kind of the rain, it mimics the rain, and they will quickly go back into their hive. But that might not be possible in all situations. And we know there are other measures like having an EpiPen ready to be used. What is happening is, if we are not prepared, we panic. And in the panic, we do a second, a third mistake, a fourth mistake, and then it could be very bad. Us as beekeepers, we have to be so much better prepared, because we're working with bees and their organization, and they're so well prepared. We're learning from them. We benefit from them in so many ways. And I think when something like this happens, then the last thing we want to do is to blame the bees, that bees have been aggressive. And I think we don't do them a service by saying that. My dog have been stung few times, and you can see he's not keen to come closer. He's just keeping a low profile. He knows bees have stung him. Just want to leave you with just few pictures, or that's the activity of our bees. Look at that, right at the start of winter. Right at the start of winter. In a day or so, the winter is upon us, and look how much pollen is coming in. Every third or fourth bee coming in brings pollen. We really do love our bees, and we want to do them justice. We don't want to label them wrongly. So if you guys have any more insight or ideas of how to be prepared, keeping bees and keeping us safe and the neighbors safe and our family safe, I would much appreciate that we keep this discussion to our benefit. Thank you very much. God bless you.